It's an Aaron Keller developer update. All right, let's see if it's any good. Game director Aaron Keller reflects on season 2 and hints at updates coming to Overwatch 2. Hi, everyone. This piece is aimed at looking at some of the topics that have come up in the community over the course of season 2. This won't be comprehensive enough to look at everything that players are talking about, but our intent is to do this every few weeks. Oh, actual text dev update, not even a video format. So we will be able to start diving into smaller topics as we go. Also, the goal here is to keep you up to date on what we're thinking and planning, but not necessarily to be the source for all the reasoning and detail behind those decisions. Oh, okay, so it's just like, hey, every few weeks they're going to post one of these, I guess, but not go super in depth, just like, hey, this is what we're doing. So let's get to it. The new ranked mode suffered from poor comprehension. There was confusion around players' real rank and how that translated to their skill level, difficulty forming groups with friends, and a negative impression of the matchmaker when players of different ranks were put in the same match, even if their skill levels were similar. We will be implementing some changes in Season 3 and quite a few more in Season 4, all aimed at creating more clarity in the system. More details at short-term changes and long-term vision will be coming soon TM. All right, so some changes Season 3, even more in Season 4. We've gotten feedback from players that the game doesn't feel rewarding enough to play and that players can't earn the items they want in a short enough period of time. We'll be making a change in Season 3 that should address some of these complaints. This is a first step. We will have more details to share about this next week. God, he's just teasing us. He hits us with the, oh yeah, rank changes, some Season 3, more Season 4, then, oh yeah, monetization changes down here. The loot box rebellion! We're winning the resistance! There are a fair number of changes to ult costs in Season 3. We'll be lowering the ult refund when swapping heroes at 25% as part of this tuning pack. Wait. I can't tell if this is a troll. Okay, isn't it like 30 right now? What's the difference between 30 and 5? Like, okay. Back up the train real quick because, like, wait a minute. Fair number of changes will be lowering the ult refund of swapping heroes part of this tuning pass. So are they saying then that ultimates are too common in Overwatch? Because there's a fair number of changes to ult cost Season 3, and then changing the passive from 30 to 25 is interesting. But realistically, you get 5% just from running out of spawn, right? Which, I mean, it'll give you a tiny amount. But I never really considered the ult refund when he's changing characters to be that significant anyway. I'm surprised they even put it here, considering how minor it is compared to this, which is fair number of changes to ult costs. I'm so curious. He didn't go into any of the details, right? Because they said up top, you know, we're not necessarily going to be the source for all the reasoning and details behind these decisions. But at the same time, I'm curious, does this imply that all of these changes are now going to be making ultimates less prevalent because they want to change the ult nerf, even though it's 5%? And the funny thing is, it's such a small tweak on this one thing they show. It's so minor. I'm sitting here, I'm just like, okay, should I expect now to see, oh yeah, lots of ult changes coming next patch, like minus 5%? Like, oh yeah, it takes 5% longer to get tracer ult. Like, oh crap, this is massive. Like, I don't know. But seeing this, I'm going, oh, it probably can't be that big, right? We're going from 30 to 25. That's the first thing I see. We'll see. Balance frequency is a big topic. Bug fixes to hot fixing should enable us to address balance faster and would have enabled us to tune Hog earlier in Season 2. We're still planning an initial and a mid-season patch each season, but now have the full ability to fill in between those as necessary. Whoa. Bug fixes to hot fixing should enable us to address balance faster and would have enabled us to tune Hog earlier in Season 2. This is actually very interesting because they said this about Season 1. They said they couldn't nerf Sojourn and do balance patches at all in Season 1. And then specifically for Hog now, they're saying their hot fixing was still broken for Hog, which is why, they came out and said, they make it sound like there was a technical issue preventing from doing it. They are. And GBB, what they're saying here is they couldn't change the parts of Hog that they changed now versus before. And also, this also screwed them over in Season 1. They're lost. Same story as first season. I'm so curious. Dude, I am so curious how insane launch must have been on the technical side of things, because they broke some big things. To break their hotfix system is really bad. And for those who don't know why breaking the hotfix system is so bad, it's because if they don't, then they have to wait for every platform certification to go through, specifically probably the Nintendo Switch. And so therefore patches have a 3-week wait time. And so because of that, if you look at this hog patch that they did recently and you think, okay, they had to submit that 3 weeks ago, they just put in they put in the changes to everyone else that they could do, but they couldn't hotfix hogs. They had to wait 3 weeks plus Christmas. Yeah, okay. That all makes sense. It's very funny because cross-platform normally isn't a big deal, but it puts such heavy reliance on the hotfix stuff that these bugs have actually been a consistent problem for, honestly, personally, my experience in playing the game, probably the biggest ever for Overwatch. The idea that, oh yeah, we couldn't tweak Sojourn in the first season at all because our hotfixing was broken, and then now we again didn't have it fully fixed, but then we could address hog, and it says should enable us to address balance faster. Hopefully this doesn't mess up another season, because that means now that 2 entire seasons have had poor balance, not even necessarily because they don't want to, but because of technical problems, which is not a good place to be. Anyway, as for the actual overall though, we planning an initial and mid-season and fill in between as necessary. Cool, I'm down for that, as long as they're actually capable of doing it. Let's go. Anyway, continue on. One-shots and frustrating hero mechanics are being discussed a lot in the community and on the team. This is an ongoing discussion, but the topic has a lot of nuances that involve the frequency of those mechanics, trade-offs for using it, and the overall power level of a hero, how often the hero is played, as well as things like a hero's fantasy. Know that we're listening here. The feedback has been great and very welcome. We'll come back to this when we have more to share. Thanks for so much for reading. Please keep the feedback coming. We're listening, Aaron. So you say, and I do want to talk about this a minute, because the Overwatch devs have talked about one-shots and stuff like that before and frustrating hero mechanics, and we've just now removed it from Roadhog, right? But it doesn't stop them from essentially adding what was effectively a second Widowmaker to the game by putting Sojourn in. And so you got to ask yourself, like, is Sojourn's character fantasy or identity as a character really based so much around extreme damage at long range? I don't know. And I know technically, and people can argue, technically she doesn't one-shot, you know? And I think, when I think of Sojourn, I think highly mobile rocket legs flying across the map. And I thought the right click was going to be a finisher on people, not necessarily just a main portion of the character where you were going to be, you know, just basically one-tapping people across the map. So I don't know. It's obviously, this is nice, and you know, they say they're listening, and it's one of those things you're just gonna have to wait and see, because there's nothing to really talk about. You just know that they are thinking about it, which makes sense because of the amount of people who are complaining about Sojourn. One-shots are no problem if it's hard to hit. Yeah, a lot of it comes down to consistency and the trade-off for it, right? Like, if I get in a Widow's face and she hooks away, she doesn't have the ability to pull out a rifle like Soldier 76 and just blast me. Sojourn does, right? Hanzo is a character that has one-shots, but everyone knows Hanzo's logs are basically random. They're across the map, right? You know, Hanzo has a very limited effective range, and then outside that range, you know he's just spamming head level to choke and hoping to headshot somebody. That's why, you know, when you die to a Hanzo across the map and he types like calculated in the chat, like you're just like, oh, okay, dude. You know, he also fires 1 arrow a minute. Yeah, there's stuff like that that feels much more okay. Whereas, you know, I get into Sojourn's face, she flies away and then one-shot somebody else. And they actually did I will say they did a pretty good nerf with her and the charge rate, specifically in combo with Mercy recently, but it doesn't really change the feeling of when you do actually get hit by it, you're still basically dead. But yeah, we'll see. Also, so much of this is also one more thing, actually. Well, the other biggest point about one-shots is actually the fact that they are doing map pools now. And I would say over half the maps in the current pool are sniper maps, which inherently are one-shot characters. And so it's, you know, it's pretty natural for one-shots to become a community discussion topic when half of the maps end up being Widow and Sojourn, right? Stuff like Circle Royale, or Junkertown, Rialto, like very long sight lines on different areas. It's just tough. Yeah, overall, I would say this in general, wait and see. Happy to see balance frequency, and the fact that tech issues are prevented from balancing for 2 seasons now sucks. And this, dude, I'm very curious. The game doesn't feel rewarding enough to play, and players can't earn the items they want in a short enough period of time. Players who can't earn the items they want is the specific piece here, because the game decides, right? You don't get to pick and choose. The game's like, this is on the pass. If you don't like this, good luck. You know? And that sucks. I think there should be more player choice. I like player choice a lot. And matchmaking, season 3, even more season 4. All right, that sounds good. Not a bad post. Not bad, not bad.